Back once again is the Renegade Peter, with very little prepared to say. This is a good effect. There we go. I don't know what's going on with that. There. Anyway, parts 1 and 2 in the of the Romans, which has been an interesting experience because this is an episode that Libby has seen before and remembers well. So I've had to remind her of the rules. We have to pretend we don't know what's coming. Yeah, like that ever happens. Anyway, more to the point. I love the Romans. I love the fact that Dennis Spooner kind of develops a style that was evident in the Reign of Terror, which on one hand is kind of bawdy comedy. I'm just going to double check. He did write that, yes, he did. Which kind of bawdy comedy, which cuts against nasty, nasty stuff. Which is kind of, I suppose, how we see Rome with a sort of romanticised view now. We talk about Rome as being Greece is the birthplace of democracy, but we talk about Rome as being this civilised, forward-thinking entity, but, with slaves and wars and circuses, but not the stuff with clowns and stuff like that. So, just going off on this thought, I suppose that Dennis Spooner's style really works well, but then again, one could say that with all historical eras, don't we? We do romanticise periods of history. We've got the gunfighters to come in some time. It can't be very nice living in the Wild West, but then again, we've got this great view of cowboys. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that in the Romans, we get Hartnell on form again, and most of the comedy revolves around him. He's got a fantastic fight scene at the start of All Roads Lead to Rome, where he just absolutely outwits this poor assassin, who already thinks he's done him in once. And he's just sharp with his line. I mean, there's a couple of slips. And I suppose this is the annoying thing about Hartnell, is that I'm starting to recognise there are the occasional slips in his dialogue that are not intentional. And they are highlighted by the fact that the Doctor is written as an old, doddery man. And therefore, you recognise the mistakes because they are not delivered with the panache that the intentional ones are, as you would expect. So, there we go. We get a couple of hints of that, but Hartnell's on fire. Vicky's developing into a great companion. She really gives Hartnell a foil in the way that Ian and Barbara aren't. The fact that she's wide-eyed and innocent lends the team a sort of enthusiasm for adventure. She starts off this story saying, "Oh, let's do stuff. We've been sat around for a month and we've not done anything yet." And so that really is nice in comparison to Susan. Susan should have been like that, but she's obviously got waylaid by the whole "I'm an unearthly child" vibe. So you got to feel for Caroline Ford in that regard. Maureen O'Brien gets this plum roll written aware of the mistakes that have gone before. Of course, this is not necessarily going to work out for Maureen O'Brien as she would want it to. But that's by the by. In terms of Ian and Barbara have had a rough old time in this story. First of all, I'm not the first to say this, and therefore I'm not claiming it's been anything new. If they are not, to be very sweet about it, boyfriend and girlfriend by this time, then I'm very surprised. They've spent a month in a villa in Rome drinking wine. There's an intimacy and affection between the two that hasn't been there before to this extent. And the fact that Ian is so desperate to get back to Barbara, and it's really tangible, whilst she's been sold to be a slave in Nero's palace, and he's gone off and ended up on a ship, which is now shipwrecked. Okay. I think, though, I said it in the middle of tonight's episode, All Roads Lead to Rome, and Lib agreed with me, so I feel brave enough to say it. It's like a farce, this story, in so much as you anticipate characters sort of move near to each other and just miss each other all the time. So Barbara's in a prison, which Ian is now in, and they didn't quite match up. The Doctor walks past the slave auction that Barbara then just appears at. At one point, it looks as if a guy is going to take Barbara into the same place that the Doctor is, but then decides against it. It's perhaps an old, tried and tested idea, but it works. You know, it's Doctor Who. Doctor Who's, you know, a broad church. You can take these things, and in a story like this, it's really great. And then, not only do we get the sort of the middleman slave trader guy who's lovely, and I really like him already, and I will learn his name for next time. But Nero comes up, and Nero's bawdy and brash and childish but dangerous, and it's a perfect Doctor Who role. It's not doing anything really for the reputation of Nero, but equally, who gives a toss? Because it's a great story. He's the dangerous guy. He's the real danger here. At any moment, he can just go pew, off with his head, or whatever the Roman equivalent was. Throw him to the lions, I presume. I don't really feel I've done this justice so far. I've not really thought about what I'm going to say, but I can say I'm really enjoying it. I can say I'm really, really enjoying it. It's Doctor Who. How can I not? No, I could. I could not. We could have been watching Warriors of the Deep, in which case I'd be going, this is shit, this is shit, shit, shit. But we're not watching the Romans. And the Doctor's brilliant. His companions are on form. It's got that mix of light and dark that Doctor Who does better than most things. And we're in ancient Rome, and we're dodging round Nero. Can't ask much more than that in life, can you? Okay. See you next time.